Trusting Peter Griffin to do a good job is like letting Herbert run a daycare. Not a good idea. But somehow, Peter has not only landed some of the wildest jobs, but has also managed to mess them up in spectacular fashion.
Hi.
So how'd the medical experiments go?
So good, Lois, so good. I'm gonna squeeze right in here if my thighs will let me.
You ain't getting a paycheck, you getting a gay check. I see myself out. That was absolutely terrible. Everyone wants an easy job. Take Peter in The Fat Guy Strangler, where he literally finds a job where all he has to do is be fat. Sounds perfect, right? Well, not when there's a fat-phobic killer on the loose.
So he has pictures of himself strangling fat guys. That doesn't mean he's the fat guy strangler.
Oh yeah? What about the dead fat guy under his bed?
So the episode starts and Lois insists that Peter has a physical checkup, but of course Peter has more important things to do.
Don.
Why?
Because I'm skipping my physical to go have steaks with the guys, and I don't want Lois to know about it.
Okay.
I mean, can you blame him? Go to a restaurant to ask for a greasy slab of meat? Or go to the doctor to be called a greasy slab of meat? Easy decision, really. On returning, however, Lois is keen to know how the physical went.
Hi, honey. How was your physical?
Good, yeah, too good. Matter of fact, you know what the doctor said? Doctor said I was too healthy, you know? In too good of shape.
Sure, Peter. We all know you're as healthy as your bowel movement after eating 17 steaks with the boys. Of course, Lois sees through this and forces him to see Dr. Hartman, who delivers this not-so-surprising news.
Oh yeah, he's fine. He's just really fat.
Oh, thank God.
Wait, hang on a second. Did you just say I was fat?
I mean, I'm no medical professional, but I'm pretty sure I could have diagnosed that one myself. On finding out that he is overweight and being oblivious to his size, Peter takes offense. After the initial denial, he eventually accepts that he is carrying more pounds in the British Minting Office, but instead of losing weight, he decides to stand up for equality and founds the National Association for the Advancement of Fat People. In his new role, Peter calls a meeting and manages to get enough people to fill the room. Still, with the stature of these guys, that probably wasn't hard to do.
Snacks are for later.
You can't deny these guys snacks. You're gonna have a riot on your hands. Peter may have found a job where he could celebrate his size, but what he didn't know was that his members list was about to become a hit list. You see, Lois discovers she has a long-lost brother who had been locked away in an asylum. Believing nothing was wrong with him, she takes him home. Free a lunatic, what could go wrong, right? It's later revealed that this was the reason he went insane.
Jackie Gleason?
Beat it, kid. Your mother's busy. Hamina, pow! Right in the kisser!
And that'd do it, all right. Patrick finds out that Peter, the founder of the NAAFP, after walking in on him being weird with a pie, and tells him he hates fat people because they remind him of TV legend Jackie Gleason. To make matters worse, Peter does the worst thing he could have possibly done in this situation.
Pow! Right in the kisser.
Pow! Right in the kisser! Pow! Right in the kisser!
Pow! Right in the kisser. Pow! Right in the kisser.
Well, that catchphrase is ruined forever. Patrick, now filled with rage, goes on a killing spree targeting the overweight people of Quahog, making Peter's new workplace the ideal hunting ground. Fear spreads amongst the members of the NAAFP, but Peter, taking his role super seriously, knows what has to be done.
You son of a...
Don't listen to Brian. Thinking about.
Out of my way, Lois. Your brother is buttery toast.
I love toast. I just found my...
Run, Patrick!
I don't know about you, but a good song always takes my mind off of being hunted down by a very different kind, a chubby chaser. Peter invites his group over to his house to protect them from the killer on the loose, but as Lois's brother walks through the door, Brian lets everyone know that Patrick is the killer. Patrick runs away, and the group, after being distracted by the thought of buttery toast, then hop on their trusty rascals and give chase.
He went into James Woods. Let's spread out and find him.
We'll head him off at...
Todd, man, you gotta chew your foot.
Once Lois accepts that her brother is a psychotic, fat-phobic murderer after far too much convincing, she and Brian head to the James Woods to save Peter.
Now let him go!
Ah, you missed!
No, I didn't. That's when I tried to jump into the General Lee.
I never meant to hurt anybody. I mean, I did mean to kill those fat guys, but I never meant...
Wow, Brian really holds a grudge even when his friend is being strangled. Lois manages to talk her brother down and put him back in the asylum where he belongs. So in just a couple of days, Peter starts a new job where he can help overweight people, but triggers a mentally unstable guy to kill 3 of the members. Sheesh, they should have just stuck with Pilates. But if you think that's insane, by the time Peter broke bad and turned into Walter White. Nope, that's not my way of doing a crazy Family Guy transition skit. It actually actually happened. In Farmer Guy, a plan to avoid a crime wave results in them not only becoming a part of it, but surfing their dirty money right to the bank.
Oh, Lois. Now, I know you're freaked out, but meth lab is our family's best chance to make meth in a lab.
Talking about, Peter?
I'm talking about saving the farm. The lab is just what we need to get back
I mean,
on.
he's not wrong, I guess. The Griffins decide to move to the country as crime rates in Quahog skyrocket.
All the fish in the bucket now. Not one fish at a time as a reward. All of them.
And here's me thinking the only robbery that goes on at SeaWorld is the ticket prices. After moving to a rural farm in the middle of nowhere, thanks to the money generously provided by Fox, Peter and the rest of the family get to work on their new lives as farmers. Unfortunately for them, though, they soon find out that it's not so easy to run a farm.
Okay, Bessie, now. Get yourself out there. Easy does it. Wait a second. I'll get in line, you.
Dang, gals are getting smarter. With debts piling up, Brian makes the sensible decision to go to agriculture college to learn how to farm, but soon after saying goodbye to the voice of reason of the family, well, most of the time, the rest of the Griffins find themselves in a bit of trouble.
Guys, what's that over there?
Am I the only one expecting them to wake up on the yellow brick road? I mean, they've already got the guy without a brain. After entering the basement for shelter, they discover more than old pickle jars and bottles of moonshine.
Whoa, wait, hang on, Lois. Now, I know you're freaked out, but when you really stop and think about it, this meth lab is our family's best chance to make meth in a lab.
What are you talking about, Peter?
Something tells me the previous farmer wasn't just cooking apple pies during his winter evenings. Talk about getting baked. Lois wants to call the police, but Peter has other ideas to pay off their debts and keep the farm.
No,
Lois, we've always given our family whatever it needs. Well, right now, our family needs us to sell illegal drugs to the tank top community. What do you say?
Well, that escalated quickly. But hey, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade, I guess. Lois reluctantly agrees, and Peter begins preparing himself to be a meth dealer and acts totally rational.
You guys lock the truck?
Dad, we don't even have
What the hell is going on out there? Come on out, whoever you are. I want to show my kids what it looks like when a dies.
Peter, there's no one there.
Well, this is Peter we're talking about. Let's just hope no customers make house calls. I had this funny feeling that it cut into their profits. Peter starts making meth, using pigeons to deliver the product to the people of Tank Top and Quahog, who return with the cash. There must be some really trustworthy drug addicts out there. What started out as a plan to cook one meth, as Lois puts it, turns into an operation so big it makes Pablo Escobar look like a vitamin salesman. They even get Stewie in on the production by getting him to fetch the ingredients. Oh, someone should be expecting a call from CPS. Eventually, Brian returns from agriculture school to find the farm is a lot different from how he left it.
Nothing. Just working on a family project, getting in some together time.
Okay, well, I'm back, and I might have the solution.
I get that everyone likes making unbelievable amounts of money, but can you really put a price on a good home-cooked tomato soup? No! Soon after, they discover that the people of Quahog are getting more zooted than a sniffer dog raiding Charlie Sheen's house. This leads to Lois having a realization.
I don't recognize us anymore. It's time to go be the Griffins again. Let's go, Peter.
Peter isn't so convinced, but after the farm and his new business go up in flames due to, get this, the highly flammable chemicals, the Griffins have no choice but to return to Spooner Street where they belong. Following Peter's lucrative business idea, albeit an extreme way to make some cash, the family now has enough firepower and street smarts to protect their home. In fact, the thieves of Quahog need to be scared of them. It was lucky Brian returned before Peter was responsible for any deaths, unlike the time Peter took over a very unexpected position and made a complete mess of it. Look, we all need a break from our jobs at some point, even the Grim Reaper. In Death is a bitch, Peter is responsible for disturbing the natural order, forcing him to do the unthinkable.
You saying it is for me to kill someone?
I know. Why don't you kill Lois?
Isn't gonna do it. You're gonna have to do something.
Lois and Peter decide to do the no pants dance, but Lois finds a large lump in the wrong place. After having to wait for his test results to come back, he's convinced that he's going to kick the bucket.
But I won't pay a cent over $60.
Sir, $1,000.
Okay, $70.
What? That's twice what it costs.
$40.
He doesn't know how to haggle.
If I were in his shoes, I would probably opt for the buy now, pay later scheme, although the funeral director may be waiting quite a while for the cash. He even sells all of his stuff so the family would have some money for when he's gone, although I highly doubt anyone would be interested in his secondhand pants.
Oh, finally! Now I can get myself to the... Uh-oh!
Yeah, something tells me they weren't green when he bought them. Peter eventually receives some news from Dr. Hartman.
Hey, okay. Mr. Griffin, all your tests came back negative. As it turns out, the lump on your chest was just a fatty corpuscle.
Yep, the lump turns out to be harmless, but the only thing it's capable of killing is the passion in the bedroom. After his brush with death, Peter is thankful for his life, but the bliss is short-lived after he sees the price of the medical bill.
Price of my bill or my phone number?
Your phone number.
Oh. Well, it's still pretty pricey.
That's nothing compared to my ambulance bill. Peter, being his classic cheap self, comes up with a cunning plan to dodge the fee.
Neither of us is drunk. Hey, knock it up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not how it works. Unfortunately, the plan backfires when Death turns up after mistakenly believing that Peter is dead. But after a turkey dinner and lots of crying, which sounds like way too similar to how my Christmas went, Death says it's time to go. But Peter has other plans.
Look, I caught Flo, Joe. You don't think I can catch you? Ah! Ah! My ankle! Ah!
Oh! But on the plus side, at least he doesn't have to pay for x-rays. After Death is unable to carry out his soul-reaping duties, everyone in Quahog realizes they are immortal and embarks on a streak of violence. With the chaos ensuing, Death gives Peter a deal he cannot refuse.
Not gonna do your dirty work. There's no way I'm getting on that plane. I'm still here, and there's nothing you can say that'll change my mind.
Either you kill them or I kill you.
Personally, I think he accepted Death's job a little too quickly. I mean, does it even come with dental insurance? 401k? Is there a death union? Is there? The Reaper tells Peter he has to kill the cast of Dawson Creek to let everyone know that Death is back on the menu. Death explains that James Vanderbeek and the rest of the gang are on a plane destined to crash and that Peter simply has to let it happen. Easy peasy, right? Well, Peter's conscience kicks in, but it's not because the plane is full of innocent kids. Oh, no.
Error. A pilot error.
Nice going, fat.
Hey,
I don't think he's cut out for a career in reaping souls, but he could always take up professional arm wrestling with those powers. He'll be the champ in no time. Might raise suspicions. Sounds like a good anime. Anyway, the plane begins to nosedive, but thankfully actress Karen Black is around to land the aircraft and save everyone. Ah, it's great when things work out. With the people of Quahog knowing that the laws of death apply again due to the pilot's unfortunate end, Death agrees to let Peter live the rest of his life. Let's face it, the way Peter acts, it won't be long until they see each other again anyway. It's crazy how there are laws and rules for everything, even death, apparently. Everyone wishes they could ignore the rules, but when Peter does it, America gets invaded. Sure, it's fun to think about ignoring every single law, but as Peter finds out the hard way in E Peterbus Unum, it's to keep the peace, and more importantly, avoid war.
Dad, I tried to go to school, but this guy won't let me.
Oh, yeah? Him in what army?
The U.S. Army.
Oh, that's a good army.
Who would have thunk it that Peter would become top priority for the military? Actually, that's not really that surprising. So after trying to get a tax refund to treat the Griffin family to a new swimming pool, Peter realizes that he isn't eligible for a single cent. Undeterred, he decides to cut the middleman out and build his own pool instead. What could go wrong? Yeah, a sliced live power cable isn't exactly what you'd want at the bottom of a large body of water. And that wasn't bad enough. He's then told by the electrician that the town's laws wouldn't allow him to build his own pool anyway. Seeking a permit from Mayor Adam West, Peter makes an interesting discovery.
It's not part of Quahog.
The hell are you talking about? I've been living at 31 Spooner Street for 12 years.
Sorry, but according to this map, you're not even part of these United States.
That's right, 31 Spooner Street doesn't exist on any maps. Realizing that he now technically owns his own country and being completely done with all the rules and regulations, Peter decides he's going to be the president of his own sovereign nation.
This day forth, this territory will be known as Ptoria.
Let's just hope his leadership skills are better than his flag designing skills, or else Ptoria is doomed. Peter, drunk on power and not just the beers he refuses to pay for the drunken flam, takes full advantage of his diplomatic immunity and goes on a crime spree.
Oh, now you're just being crazy.
Hey, that's against the law. You're coming with me.
Can't touch me. Can't touch me.
Yeah, breaking into an MC Hammer song doesn't get you out of trouble with the police. Trust me, I've tried. Ptoria becomes the laughingstock of the United Nations after demanding a better seat at the meeting, but gets trolled for his small country.
Well, that's more like it.
And hey, would you also like a special satellite that can scratch your ass with a laser beam from space?
They have those?
Poor dude. The joke will be on them when Elon Musk upgrades his Starlink. although I wouldn't want to be the first to try out that new function. At lunch, the great leader of Ptoria gets some advice on how to be taken seriously.
Around here is to find something you want and just dig.
Everybody respects you. How come you're still eating here by yourself?
I guess if it's good enough for every powerful nation throughout history, it's good enough for Ptoria. Peter then embarks on a campaign to invade America by going next door and claiming Joe's pool. I guess every nation has to start somewhere, right? Of course, the US can't stand by and let the 4-bedroom republic get away with this. Despite having their house surrounded by tanks and their utilities and food cut off, Lois tries to make the best of the situation by trying to teach Meg and Chris, but it seems that the isolation is getting to them.
I think Mrs. Griffin's hot.
Go to your room.
Damn you, Rupert!
Yeah, that's just nasty. Besides, they'll have to get in line behind Brian and Quagmire first. At breaking point, Lois tells Peter to give up his rule as nobody is on their side, but that's not strictly true. Peter's ballsy move to stand firm against the government attracts a few new allies to his cause.
Marco Polo! Marco Polo! Fish out of water! Oh!
You're telling me that Peter, a guy who's known for being drunk like 50% of his entire life, is in charge of a pool party that features some of the world's most notorious leaders and war criminals of the early 21st century? Where can I buy a fallout shelter at? After Peter makes a mess of his new country and most likely plans World War III over hot dogs and potato salad, the rest of the Griffins decide to cross the border, or the street, rather, to be part of America again. With just Peter and Brian holding the front line and the US threatening to blow up Ptoria, the world's most clueless president is forced to make one last decision for the good of his country.
After all this, I end up with nothing?
How about this? You get home from work, I'll scratch your back with a match.
Oh, Lois.
Oh.
What do you when you do it?
No.
I wonder how many great nations have fallen after accepting a back scratch. I mean, I guess those Roman Emperor cloaks did look quite itchy. I think all Peter needed was a good national anthem for his country. If only he had some unknown musical talent waiting to get out. Ever discovered you had a gift after a few too many drinks? Maybe you'd become the Gordon Ramsay of creating absurd but delicious snacks with the potty mouth to go with it. In Wasted Talent, Peter discovers that he has a special gift, but there's one huge problem.
Congratulations, Lois.
The episode begins with the beer equivalent of Willy Wonka, the Pawtucket Patriot Brewery, offering a tour for anyone who finds the Silver Scroll. Of course, Peter takes the mission on.
Go! 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 Nothing.
Peter, it's 7 in the morning.
But just like the plot of everyone's family favorite movie where a mad chocolatier tries to murder a group of children, Peter finds the last scroll and visits the fabled brewery.
And you'll sink to a state of pure inebriation, you'll be tanked.
And I got a feeling that if Peter gets stuck in the beer river pipe, he'd be cool with it. Of course, the tour goes horribly wrong after Peter and Brian ignore a keep out sign. Faced with impending death, they do the only thing that will save them.
I want you to know I've really cherished our friendship.
Me too, buddy. That's why I was holding this in, but since we're gonna die anyway...
Peter, that's it.
So remember, kids, if in doubt, let a fart out. It'll scare away bears, distract robbers, and get you the whole plain road to yourself. Yeah, Pawtucket Pat isn't impressed by the non-beer related gases contaminating his factory, and Peter and Brian are swiftly kicked out by all the Chumbawambas.
Chumbawamba, go! Ah! Ah!
Man, for little guys who get to taste test booze all day, they sure are cranky, aren't they? Upset, Peter has one too many drinks and tries to vent to Lois, but she's too busy trying to get Meg ready for an upcoming piano competition. If there's one thing you can't do, however, is keep a drunk guy quiet.
Attention around here.
Peter, that's incredible. I don't understand how you're like the idiot from Shine.
Yeah, Peter discovers he is a genius on the piano, but only when he is stupid drunk. The irony. Lois, impressed by Peter's skills, helps him practice for the competition by getting him a gig at the Drunken Clam. Taking full advantage of the situation, Peter has Lois ply him with drinks all night. Genius. I'm gonna tell my boss I'm really good at my job, but only when I'm full of Wendy's spicy nuggets. The worst part of the whole situation is that Lois knows that she's doing the wrong thing, but tries to justify it by saying this.
Don't start with me, Brian. This may not be my proudest moment, but what a win.
Well, I guess you're not the first person to do whatever it
I wonder what'll run out first. The beer supply, the drunken clam, or Lois's moral code meter. The competition day soon rolls around. The only problem is that there's no liquor and all the stores are closed. Desperate, the spouses head to a high school party and get tanked so he can perform. Just maybe a little too tanked. Peter, looking like a really bad Elton John tribute act, impresses the crowd and wins the competition. It seems like Peter has finally found a career where being a borderline alcoholic is actually a benefit. But for Lois, it's getting the victory over her piano rival that really matters. Unfortunately, Lois's dream of creating a musical prodigy is short-lived. She realizes that she's been sacrificing Peter's well-being by filling him with booze just so he can be successful in music. Come on, Lois, it worked out fine for all those rock stars back in the 80s.
Stop playing. I'm gonna eat this whole sandwich.
See, Ozzy turned out alright. It's probably for the best, though. With him being that drunk, who knows what he could have come out with. I know free speech is important, but sometimes there has to be censorship. It's a lesson Peter had to learn the hard way. Everything seems to be censored when it comes to content these days, but as seen in PTV, those who break broadcasting laws will get into so much trouble it affects every aspect of their lives, including bedroom activities.
Make you feel better? How about a little angry huh?
Oh, all right.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Those actions are highly...
Let me explain. In this episode, Peter chooses to watch the Emmys instead of Meg's play, but after some gentle persuasion from Lois, he reconsiders.
Not.
Yes!
You like eating red carpet, tough guy?
Yes!
Say you like eating red carpet!
I like eating red carpet!
Giggity.
The only thing that'll make this misunderstanding look worse is the carpet burns on his face. Peter later finds out that he missed the moment when David Hyde Pierce accidentally exposed himself at the Emmys, leading to all the television networks censoring everything that comes even close to provocative or controversial. Kinda like YouTube.
You can't say that. No, 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 no.
Peter, unhappy with seeing black boxes and hearing more beeps in the time R2-D2 accidentally downloaded Darth Vader's plans for family therapy, decides to start his own TV network. With the help of a giant satellite, Peter starts broadcasting uncensored shows through the PTV network from the garage.
Good night, John boy.
Damn it! This house!
Here, look at these numbers. We're a hit.
Wow, TV in the 70s was wild. After seeing the figures, Peter decides the next step for the network is original programming, including one hosted by Quagmire and the Nude. Man, I'd hate to be the person flicking through the channels and accidentally finding this golden gem. Other primetime must-watchers include Dogs Humping, Cheeky Bastards, and let's not forget...
The Peter Griffin boob hour. Look at that side boob. How about that side boob? Well, it shouldn't, because that's my... Good night, everybody.
The side, Peter, that's it.
Ugh, I think I threw up in my... everywhere. Peter is riding the high on the success of his new network after receiving thousands of fan mail letters. Lois, on the other hand, isn't a fan and gets concerned that the content he's showing could be harmful.
You're on.
Hey, PTV fans, welcome to Douchebags. We're out here on the I-95 overpass doing our first segment. I dare you to crap off of that. Basically, we'll spend...
Man, I thought pigeons were bad. After traumatizing Stewie by dropping a deuce on the car, Lois takes things into her own hands and reports Peter to the FCC. It seems that the only person who hates the FCC more than Peter is the Family Guy creator, Seth MacFarlane, who takes the opportunity to do a musical number slamming those who have tried and failed to censor the show. Now that's taking it to the man. The Federal Communications Commission swiftly shuts Peter's new venture down and, to make things worse, starts censoring real life as well. They air horn any dirty words, convert farts into jokes, and snoo time comes with more rules than Dungeons and Dragons. Even going for a whiz is controlled.
2 shakes, that's it.
Oh, why thank you, Tinkle Fairy.
Lois, you ruined everything, you know?
Is nothing sacred anymore? Peter, upset with Lois, reminds her that without creative freedom, many of the best things in the world would have never been created. For example, the car crash between a guy eating a chocolate bar and a guy eating peanut butter, which created the Reese's bar. Lois soon realizes that being over-censored is actually terrible and accepts that Peter is right. Wow, it's the first time for everything. The Griffin family head to Washington to make a change, and after farting through a megaphone, Peter gets the attention of Congress.
On. This government's FCC is trying to take all the farts away from television. Well, I say it's wrong. These things are part of the fabric of American life.
Yep, people like fart and poop jokes. Get over it, FCC. Give the people poop! Once Peter reminds the government that America was built on smutty humor, like how all the historical monuments are shaped like crude things, they have no other choice but to lift the extreme censorship ban. But we can't blame Peter for trying something new and attempting to break the mold. In fact, I would say his openness to experimentation is one of his best qualities. Except for the time he agreed to be part of a medical study which changed him in some very unexpected ways. When money's tight, most of us will do pretty much anything to make ends meet. Well, in Family Gay, Peter takes that notion to the absolute extreme and starts doing things that puts his marriage in jeopardy.
Hey, this is Scott.
Oh, who's Scott?
My soulmate, Lois. I'm here.
I mean, I'll give him this. Peter pulls off a green shirt oddly well. After being sent to the store with just enough money for a tin of beans, Peter returns with a horse. In most cases, this would be a bargain. But that's in most cases.
It's wise to have a brain-damaged horse as a house pet.
Shut up! You don't know nothing. About anything.
Whatever, Peter.
They do say owners start looking like their pets, I guess. Oh yeah, hold on. Gotta make sure we include this bit. Peter,
the horse is here.
Oh, the horse is here. Sorry, I tried. Peter enters the horse into a race, but after it crashes into the stand and causes $100,000 worth of damages, the Griffins are sent into serious debt. Peter decides he'll get a second job to help pay the bill.
Hey, Lois, look at this. Subject wanted for medical... What's that?
Experiments.
Asparagus.
Experiments.
Because that's a completely rational thing to do. Call me overcautious, but why not just start a job that won't potentially kill you? On the plus side, maybe they're testing out brain cell regeneration. The first two serums turn him into a squirrel and Seth Rogen, but the last one has more adverse effects.
Yeah? Are you gay?
Guilty!
Yeah, Peter went gay for pay. With his newfound sexuality, Peter becomes an over-the-top gay stereotype and begins acting completely differently. He trades beer for wine, eggs, and bacon for a croissant and grapes, and has a slight shift in his choice of entertainment.
Absolutely fabulous piece on Fiji in yesterday's travel section. I wish I was Beyonce.
Peter, I think have that doctor undo whatever he did.
Ow!
Huh, those are some side effects. While Lois is concerned at first, she soon finds out that Peter's new personality is way better than the last. He bakes delicious muffins, helps Chris with his homework, and does all the chores. Talk about taking your work home with you. Now that is quite the dedication to your new job, brother. The guys at the Drunken Clam, however, aren't so accepting. Except Quagmire.
If we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it my way.
Darn it! Knock, knock. What's the problem?
For all his perversion, you can't fault him for being inclusive. Giggity giggity. Lois's bubble soon bursts, however, when she comes to bed in a skimpy nightie looking to thank Peter for all the work he's done around the house, but after coming on to him, Peter rejects her because he's gay now.
Wait a minute, you mean we can't have sex?
No.
I guess Lois values some things over housework and a decent husband. Who would have thunk it? Lois takes Peter back to the research hospital to find out if the effects of the drug can be reversed, but she receives this disappointing news.
No, he could be this way for the rest of his life.
I don't see what the big deal is. I like myself this way.
It's a vent.
Come on, Lois, he's here. He's queer. Get used to it. Okay, maybe if your husband turned gay overnight, it'd be a bit of a culture shock. Where are they gonna find the extra wardrobe space at the top of a hat? To make things even worse, Peter gets a boyfriend called Scott and leaves Lois. Okay, maybe this new job has gone a little too far now. Peter and Scott get on with their new life, but Lois misses her husband, even his destructiveness at times. Brian, determined to fix things, kidnaps Peter and takes him to a religious gay camp where they try and force the sexuality out of him. What is this, 1850? Once Lois discovers Brian's cruel plan, she comes to a realization.
Lois, you've made me happier than a pig among...
All right, I think we're all in agreement.
Hi, Peter.
Hi, Scott.
Luckily for Lois, the gay gene eventually wears off. Unfortunately for Peter, it happened right in the middle of activities that resemble an earthquake in a sauna room. It's a shame the religious folk of Quahog couldn't be accepting and cool with different orientations, but there is a religion that is cool with everyone, no matter how they identify, and Peter just happens to make it. In The Father, the Son, and the Holy Fonz, the Griffin family hosts an 80th birthday dinner for Peter's father, Francis. But things get heated over a clash of religions, which inspires Peter to fix said divide.
Oh, Peter, I know this is important to you, but I don't want to see you humiliated. And I want to worship the Fonz.
Is this the Church of the Fonz?
Guess Lois just wants to live in some happier days. Get it? Because of the Fonz? Let's just keep going, okay? With Francis forcing his religious views down the throats of the Griffin children, Lois asks Peter to talk to his dad. Peter tries to broach the subject, but just makes his father angry, and an angry, old-fashioned Irish Catholic is not someone you want to piss off. To make peace, he offers Stewie up for a baptism, but it goes wrong, and Stewie gets sick.
You had my back?
Come on, honey. This is no worse than when I rented out the immigrants.
Oh no, not another tainted holy water outbreak. There really needs to be more research done. Stewie's illness brings up a conversation about what religion Peter truly wants to identify with. He tries out different ones and finds faults with all of them before finally deciding to worship one man who has always been there for him, guiding him and providing him with plenty of happy days.
If this be your will.
This is how a crab walks.
It sure is.
Peter embarks on a new career as the founder and preacher of the Church of Fonz and turns an old barn into a place of worship. After passing out flyers around town and Lois's expected words of discouragement, people begin to flock to the new church.
Of my motorcycle from temporary blindness. And yea, for I am holy, Dix Downey, the only Negro in the state of Wisconsin.
So that's his plan? Talking about episodes of his favorite TV shows and expecting people to listen? This is just a club. Peter's father, who obviously doesn't appreciate how a leather jacket and slicked back hair make you the coolest guy in the room, tells his son that he is embarrassed by him for making a mockery of faith.
So today wasn't religion. It was just a bunch of sheep singing songs and listening to ridiculous tall tales.
Actually, that is religion.
Shut your trap, Brian! Ha! You
Don't call it, Francis. If there can be a religion that believes a galactic overlord brought aliens to Earth, then Peter can believe in the Fonz. Is it good for him? Who knows, man? But but he can. Brian, ever the atheist, makes the point that listening to stories of the Fonz in the Bible could be considered the same thing. Although personally, I see some differences. Jesus walked on water. The Fonz water skied over a shark. Similar but very different, and for very different reasons.
Reading from the letters of Potsy to the Tuscaderos.
Brian decides to make a truce with Francis to put an end to Peter's new role as a reverend of the House of Fonz. Peter's in the middle of one of his sermons discussing the divine continuity errors of Happy Days when Brian and Francis crash the party.
When a religion gets too powerful, it's bound to have imitators.
What are you talking about?
Brian had organized actors from classic 70s TV shows to turn up so they could invite the disciples of the Fonz to their newly formed religions, clearing the room. This put an end to Peter's latest loony career move.
Preaching honesty, friendship, courage?
No, don't be so hard on yourself, brother. Give it another 2,000 years. I'm sure people will come around. Although the Church of the Fonz didn't bring Peter, Brian, and Francis together in their beliefs, they could all agree on one thing.
Stupider than me.
Madonna?
Oh, yeah, she's pretty stupid. That's something we can all agree on, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Francis?
Oh, major idiot. Major idiot.
Yeah.
Aw, nothing brings people closer together than a mutual hatred of a famous pop star. While Peter did a pretty good job as a preacher, albeit on a religion based on an old 70s TV show, he really finds his calling when he's hired for his unlikeliest career to date. They say most sports require fitness, but as you'll see, that's a huge lie. Peter is invited to his high school reunion in Patriot games, and after attending, he lands one of the most sought-after jobs in America.
I'm ready. Come on. Good game, everybody. Yeah. Come on. Good game. Let's get out there. Let's do it. Yeah. 110%, everybody. 110%.
Most people overlook that you need to have spanking skills to join the NFL. At first, Peter isn't so keen to see his old school pals at his reunion.
Everybody's all got their nice cars and their big important jobs and their fancy hats and their fresh strawberries so big you can eat them like a hand fruit.
Peter, everyone lies at those things.
That's exactly why I didn't go to mine. It's so embarrassing when you only own a sombrero. After Joe comes up with a good point telling him how everyone lies about their jobs at school reunions, Peter changes his mind and comes up with his new alias.
And is that you?
Hey, Mike, long time no see.
Wow, what's all this?
Oh, this? Oh, I just came from work. I'm a secret agent astronaut millionaire.
Cool. Where'd you get the cowboy hat?
I guess when you can't land on one fictional career, choose them all. Through one of his old buddies, Peter is introduced to Tom Brady, who obviously didn't have anything better to do that night. Everything's going well until the secret agent astronaut millionaire cowboy lets slip that he actually works at the Pawtucket Patriot Brewery.
Man, in fact, I was just saying that the other day to all the guys down at the brewery.
Brewery? I thought you were a cowboy astronaut millionaire.
He's a fake! Look, this cowboy hat comes right off!
Poor Peter. His lie was totally believable until then. I think it's the cowboy hat that really sold it. Drinking his embarrassment away, and then some, Peter catches the eye of Tom.
Peter, that was amazing. I've never seen a guy your size who could move like that. How would you like to play for the New England Patriots?
I'd love to. Say, listen, Tom, could you get me a towel? I threw up on the floor.
Oh, so when he throws up, he gets a job playing for the New England Patriots, but when I throw up, I get fired? Granted, I should have left the operating theater first, but still, the hypocrisy. As a professional athlete, Peter proves to be an asset to the team and single-handedly beats the opposing teams. Peter and Tom really hit it off, although Peter may have gotten a little too comfortable with his new friend.
Hey, what's going on?
What the hell? Get out of here!
Well, we're on the same team. We shower together.
Yeah, in the locker room.
Yeah, give me you. Yeah.
Be careful who you're smacking, Peter. That's a $3 million butt you're whipping there. As is often the case with celebrity sports personalities, after a few commercials and spending way too much money on erotic art, the success goes to his head.
Yeah, that is happening for real. Yeah.
Story old as time. When he turns up late for his game with the Patriots, ruins the field with his new car, and does more showboating than Terrell Owens after one too many of his energy drinks, Tom is not very happy.
For what? We've had it with your crap. I talk in your contract to another team, and the only one that'll take you is in Europe. The Londons.
Personally, I think he's just jealous. Peter is swiftly kicked out of the Patriots and sent to England to play for the worst team in Europe, the London Silly Nannies. And let me tell you, the only thing worse than their team name is their football skills. Swapping cheeseburgers for crumpets, the Griffins don't enjoy their time in Britain, and Peter comes up with a plan to challenge the Patriots to a grudge game to get revenge. Of course, he'll have to get his team ready first.
Well, give me that dirty look one more time and PJs and have a pillow fight with you.
Very well then.
I like your gal.
Yeah, I told you they need some work, and I'm not just talking about their dental plan. Who the hell am I to talk about that? Peter uses a tried and tested American sports technique to get the team up to scratch. Hard work, a strict training schedule, and a solid strategy. Nah, I'm just kidding, they use steroids. Unfortunately, no amount of anabolic enhancement can keep the nerve of the Silly Nannies, who all ran like roaches, leaving just Peter to face the entire Patriots team alone.
Here, you bastards. So let's do this. Oh, hey, Brady. You gonna gloat and call me a loser now?
You're not a loser at all. What you did just now.
Oh yeah, that's gonna sting in the morning. At least he tried, I guess. While Peter may have lost his home in Quahog, his career as a professional football player, and most likely a couple of teeth in the process, he did gain one thing: the respect of Tom Brady. And how many people can really say that? It's just a shame that Peter fails at pretty much every job he takes on, but he does succeed sometimes, kind of. Don't believe me, kind of? Out of work and depressed, in Fish Out of Water, Peter puts on more weight than the entire cast of The Biggest Loser during a Super Bowl party. Looking for inspiration, Peter decides on a new career, which very nearly makes him fish food.
Oh, yeah, now that's a job. Fresh sea air, working outside. That's how a real New England man makes a living.
Well, maybe that.
No better place to ponder life than on a forklift, I guess. After spotting a group of fishermen getting ready to set sail, Peter realizes it's always been his dream to catch fish for a living. Inexperienced yet determined, Peter buys a fishing boat at auction, but little did he know it comes with much more than just leftover stinking chum and sun-bleached novelty signs saying "Gone Fishing."
Congratulations. You just bought yourself a cursed boat. Cursed?
I know a curse sounds pretty crappy, but you never get freebies when you buy stuff these days, so I class that as a win. Seamus explains that it was a giant blue fish called Daggermouth who killed the former captain, Salty, but after ignoring the warning, he gets a loan from a shady bank to pay the $50,000 for his new boat.
Three kids.
I'll take them. They're banks. Now, I trust you have collateral. I'm not. Sign this. Here you go. Good luck.
Yeah, you don't want to deal with anyone who's willing to trust Peter Griffin with money. Ready to be a fully fledged fisherman, the only job left to do before the maiden voyage was to name the vessel.
There she is, boys. The SS more powerful than Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, and the Incredible Hulk put together.
Yes?
I think it's got a ring to it. I'll have to submit that one to babynames.com later. The other fishermen at the dock take an instant dislike to Peter, moving in on their watery turf, with Hennessy becoming his new enemy.
Wow. So how do you do it?
Oh, you're very nice to ask. A worm out there. They usually go for it for a while, and then they just lay back and accept it. Okay. What the hell?
What concerns me is the fact that Hennessy has that sign just lying around. To make matters worse, Peter returns home from a hard day's work at the fish market to find that the bank has taken everything from the Griffin home and plan on taking the house also if the loan isn't paid back within 48 hours. Pretty harsh, even a loan shark could give you at least 72. Determined to show everyone that he's worthy of sailing the seas and desperate to make some quick cash to pay back the loan before he loses everything, Peter takes the only option he has left.
You need 50 grand, Griffin? Well, I got a suggestion for you. Why don't you kill Daggermouth?
So, without any fishing experience, a cursed boat, and the help of the guys, Peter embarks on a mission to Fish Stench Cove to take down a man-eating fish, because that's totally not a crazy idea. Out on the vast open sea, the gang drinks beers and gets some bonding time in while they head to their prized catch, or let's face it, their untimely deaths. The fun times soon come to an end, though, when the crew pulls into Fish Stench Cove and come face to face with the infamous Daggermouth.
That's a little nautical joke. I'm a fish, you see. I'm also delightfully...
Not so fast.
Perhaps I could offer you a glass of port.
That fish really knows how to hold its breath as well as it holds its liquor. While the aquatic killer gets the upper hand on them, his slow-loading antique pistol allows Peter to harpoon him. While expecting to see fish guts, the gang realizes that it's actually a robot created by Captain Salty, who was supposed to have been killed by the fabled fish. Salty explains that he faked his death to sell Daggermouth merchandise and gives Peter the plunder he needs.
Oh, I'm gonna give you $50,000 to be on your way.
$50,000? For why?
To keep your mouth shut. And because the longer we stay here, the more...
Don't give Peter any more ideas. As we've seen in this video, he doesn't exactly make great career choices. So yeah, you can't really trust Peter with a job that doesn't involve beer, as things get pretty hectic. But those aren't the only ways this show leans into its wild side. Click the screen to see episodes so crazy they were branded as MA.